Many business owners have a tendency to think that there is something very special or unique about them or their business, when in fact, most businesses go through the same stages of growth. So today we're talking about how special snowflake syndrome can actually be greatly damaging the momentum of your business. Let's get right into it. If you're new here, my name is Liz. I help coaches and consultants use digital media to move their business along faster. Be sure to subscribe so that you never miss any of my future content. Now, special snowflake syndrome has been around forever. It's in every single industry, and new business owners are especially prone to ending up in this scenario. And what I mean by special snowflake is sometimes a new business owner puts all of their heart and soul and blood, sweat, and tears into building their business, and they think that there is something extremely unique about them and the scenario around which their business was built, or about their offer or their target market. When in fact, my friends, many of these systems have already been developed by people. Most of the products that have ever been invented are just going through different iterations, and we might be just tweaking little things here or there. But in fact, almost all of us have businesses that are somewhat similar or, along the same lines as other businesses. So when we get stuck in this tendency of thinking that there is something very special about us, then what ends up happening is that we stunt our own growth. We end up causing ourselves to waste enormous amounts of time and money and energy into reinventing the wheel, thinking that our scenario is very unique and fixing all sorts of problems that have already been fixed by people already. So this is how we end up in a cycle of not really moving forward and instead constantly tweaking and tweaking and tweaking and customizing things, thinking that there's something extremely special about us in our business. So today I'm going to help you to sort of identify whether you have any of these symptoms and whether the reason that you're not seeing as much business growth quickly as you might expect could be because you are holding yourself back with this mindset. Let's jump right into it. Now, the first trap is that you might be trying to create a custom everything for you and your business. Many business owners make this mistake of trying to build everything from scratch, when in fact there are already systems and tools and softwares out there that do that exactly for you. So instead of purchasing things and using tools that already exist and then just tweaking and customizing them a little bit for your brand, they start building things from scratch. For example, they might try to design very unique contracts or some templates that have never been seen by anyone anywhere in the world. Or they might build their own CRM or a learning management system from scratch when thousands of them already exist. So this type of behavior actually causes a person to really slow down their growth. The point of using all of these tools is to get them out there into the world so that your customers can make use of those tools and then you can start working together. But if you are delaying getting these tools out to your customers for months because you're trying to build it from scratch and customize everything, then think of all of the sales and the business and the goodwill that you could have made in that time. So this is why it is very advantageous to just use tools that are out there. Spend a little bit of money to get the paid versions of tools that you think are going to work well for you, and that will often allow you to customize it for your own brand. So that when people, come across your brand or start using these tools, they don't really feel like it's a cookie cutter generic tool that they could have found anywhere. They will feel like that's yours. And in fact, they are usually looking for the actual content and the implementation and the execution of what that tool can do, more than the design features around it. Now, another common trap that business owners sometimes fall into is using language or vocabulary and terminology as a smokescreen. Now, if you can't explain the things that you are doing to a young person or to a teenager, then it means you're probably trying to make it too fancy. You could be doing this in the hopes that it will make it sound more unique. Simple language is typically what converts customers because people don't want to jump through hoops trying to figure out what you're talking about and what you offer. They just want to know what it is that they can get in return or exchange for their time and their money. So instead of thinking of very flowery terms like growth facilitation experience, you could just call it coaching, or you could call it consulting, and then just add another word or two that connects back to your brand so that there's, an interesting sound to it. But when we go out of our way to make things sound extremely grandiose, then that sometimes can backfire because, for one thing, your audience won't know what it is, and they might not have the time or energy or patience or interest in trying to research to see what it is you're talking about. And then that will make them just, sort of walk off and look for the next person. So clear is always better. And if it starts getting a little too flowery, it could be that you're trying to make yourself seem a little bit more unique than you need to. Another symptom of the special snowflake behavior is continually telling people that my situation is different. Now, this is something that we see a lot, but problems like marketing, cash flow, hiring, getting enough leads, traffic, all of these are universal problems. So whether you are a neuroscientist offering coaching or whether you are a restaurant owner, a lot of your foundational, fundamental business problems will be the same. The journey is the same for practically every type of business. It's just different flavors of it depending on the industry and the type of business. So constantly telling yourself and others that their scenario is completely different from yours and there's something extremely unique about yours, that is going to hold you back. I remember I was in a coaching session once where I was in the group and someone else was coaching us. But there was a woman who was describing the scenario that she was going through, and the coach was trying to coach her through the fact that that is a very common scenario that she was undergoing, that almost everyone in the room had already gone through this type of scenario, including the coach, and there was some easy fixes to that. But the person who was speaking was just kind of unable and unwilling to hear that. They were so focused on trying to demonstrate that their problem was different. And, even if this solution was presented, no, that's not going to work for me. If that was presented, no, that's not going to work. So she was so focused on finding all the faults with all the most common solutions for these problems that we could see very clearly that she was completely blind and closed to making any progress there. She was so sunk in this idea that there was something extremely different and unique about her scenario, when in fact, there was nothing unique or different about it. It's just she had convinced herself of that. And so look how much she was holding herself back. So be aware if you are falling into that type of trap. No matter what business or industry you're in, there's almost always going to be your own competitors and people in your market who have gone through this before. So that means that problem has already earthed itself and it's been probably resolved to some degree. So spend time looking to see how other people have solved these issues and then start making some more progress like that. Another problem with thinking that you're a special snowflake is that you might really hesitate or resist the idea of delegating and outsourcing. We often see business owners saying, oh, I don't want to ask so-and-so to do something, or I don't want to hire out for that position because there's just no way that they're going to do it as well as I can. So when you do that, you are drastically limiting your ability to create more time for yourself, to focus on more important things, and you have somehow labeled yourself as the know-it-all for the entire scope of the business. But there are many people out there that are specialists in certain areas. They can do things just as well as you might be doing them, and they can probably do it faster because they are specializing in that thing all the time. This is one of the reasons that people start hiring virtual assistants and executive assistants and admin assistants, designers, graphic designers, all of that type of thing, instead of trying to do all of that work themselves. The minute that you think that you are the only person that can handle every single aspect of your business, that is when you are going to severely limit the growth of your business, because now you are saying that nothing can happen unless everything is spinning around you and you consider yourself to be that cog that turns the wheel. In fact, a good business should be able to even run without its owner. Its owner should have delegated and outsourced and systematized things in a way that the owner can afford to go on vacation for a week, or close their laptop for 5 hours and spend the evening with their family, or do whatever they need to do and still have the business run. So if you find yourself really resisting the idea of delegating or outsourcing, have an honest conversation with yourself and ask yourself why it is that you are doing that, because you might really be limiting yourself from future growth. And here's the plot twist to everything, and that is that boring is beautiful, and this is always going to be the case in business. So many systems and processes and workflows have already been tweaked and honed over the centuries. So any of us who are getting into business at this point, we don't have to start from scratch. We don't have to assume that we are the only person in the world who has ever thought about this topic and now we are going to build it from the ground up. There is no need for that, my friend. If you are a business owner, you should be doing ample competitor research so that you know what other things people in your market have already done. You can use some of those ideas. You can borrow some of them as inspiration. You can build upon them. Think about McDonald's. So McDonald's is a pretty successful company, I would say, but they never invented the hamburger. Instead, they took something that already existed, and then they're trying to find ways to improve upon that and improve their systems and so on. So this is how a successful business works. If you ask any successful business owner what is their secret to actually seeing success, they'll tell you it's that they did the boring things, the fundamentals, the basics really well. They learned how to optimize their landing pages. They learned how to talk clearly about their offer. They learned all the basics like that. You'll notice even a lot of the products that you buy or a lot of the websites that you're attracted to, it's not necessarily because things look flashy there or because something sounds like it's the most unique thing ever. It's because it is written and displayed and offered to you in a way that just makes sense to you. It speaks your language, it puts you into a comfort zone, and it makes you feel like you are headed in the right direction. So all of that is boring stuff. All of it is stuff that special snowflakes never like to do, because a special snowflake likes to spend months tweaking their website until it looks perfect, and then they notice that nobody understands what's on there, and so because of that they don't make any sales, and then doing that in every single area of their business. So rather than that, focus on what you offer, finding a way to clearly articulate that, and then using what has already been done in your industry to make those existing processes even better. So if you like this video, I hope that you will give it a like, share it off with one of your friends. Don't forget to subscribe, because every Tuesday I bring you a new video teaching you how you can use digital media to build your business faster. So until next time, take care.